Adrian, what a beautiful day.
What a beautiful day. A fine day in Portland, Oregon.
This is how we speak now here at Digital Trends Live. Oh, my.
Oh.
It's nice to be here with you. Okay, I can't do it anymore. Hello, everyone.
That was a good 5 seconds.
It was good. Yeah, we lasted 5 seconds. We tried to make a change. It just didn't work out. Apologies to everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. This is our daily show here from Digital Trends, where we talk about the trending tech topics of the day. We bring you tech headlines and news. We bring you interviews. We bring you great stories. We've got our editors on board here, and we do it all while we're live, broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, all of those outlets, and many more. And we can take your comments as we go through. I want to say hi to Lily, pontificating about the coffee cup at the beginning. Much appreciated.
Excellent commentary.
A lot to think about there, a lot to unravel as we go through this. Hello to Raymond. Hello to Mike Tyson on YouTube. Mike Tyson joining us. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. Thanks, Mike, for hopping on board. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on the tech that we're going to talk about today. And let's get to that. Let's get through what we're going to be bringing up here today, what we have on the docket for today's show. In just a little bit, we're going to be joined by Travis Wright of the Bad Crypto Podcast to talk about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, where it's at right now. I know there was just a story that came out about Bitcoin and as far as how people are claiming it on their taxes. I don't know if we'll get into that or whether it's a good time to buy Bitcoin, what kind of cryptocurrency and blockchain news we need to be aware of for this coming year. Travis will be our expert on that. And then, I have to be careful, this is a mouthful. Drew Prindle, our emerging technologies editor, is going to be joining us to talk about the Aloxodal. There we go. I'm going to say it 10 times really fast. Aloxodal and the genome sequencing that happened with that. Yes, there is actually a story in there. It does make sense. Drew will be here to explain it. Essentially, it's the idea that maybe we can grow new limbs. I'll just leave it at that. We can become superheroes. That's a lot. That's a lot in one basic description, but that's the best I can do. The Aloxodal is what we're going to be talking about later on. We'll have to wait for Drew to fully explain that, but I am Greg Nibbler, now here joined with Adrian Water.
My mind is already blown.
Boom.
And it's been like less than 5 minutes into this broadcast.
I know. We've gone through so much already, and yeah, it's Aloxodal. All right, Adrian.
Yes.
Thanks for hopping in here today.
Thank you very much for having me. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you very much. And happy Wednesday to everybody out there. We have a lot to unravel because there is really a breaking story that's been kind of unraveling this entire morning for our tech headline of the day. We'll get into some read 'em and weep here in a minute, but the big story that's trending right now has to do with Facebook. Yes, Facebook, once again, with a data privacy issue. This is a two-part story, so we'll get kind of the main headlines out, and then we'll kind of digest, go through exactly what it is that's happening. So Facebook has reportedly, well, not reportedly, I guess it's been exposed, for paying 18 to 35-year-olds to download their Facebook research app, which gives Facebook access to virtually every piece of data on their phones. They've been paying $20 a month. This has apparently been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, since 2016, almost 3 years. And I believe it may not be, it may be younger than 18 as well. It may include people as young as 13.
And that's crazy, number one. But yeah, this app has been giving Facebook access to everything on their phones.
For both iPhone and Android.
And so that includes DMs, it includes web activity, it includes everything that's been going on their phones, paying them $20 a month, and it uses a VPN. And part of that is they've been skirting a lot of regulations when it comes to Apple. And Apple had a response today after this story broke. They said that Facebook had violated their policies, the App Store policies, and as a result of that, Facebook has been banned from having their development apps on Apple's iOS. So what that actually means is this. When a company is developing a new app, they have to test it out on either Apple or Android systems. So internally, they download these development apps, they can walk it through it, they can have it basically use Apple's iOS without being public for the store.
Yeah, something called the Enterprise Developer Program.
And so Enterprise Developer Program.
And so, yeah, it was created exactly like you said. It was created solely for the internal testing of apps amongst a company. And it sounds like that they were developing these apps that were created solely for internal purposes and then actually by skirting the App Store and giving them directly to the consumer and paying them through the back door through it.
So huge violation of all kinds of policies. And with that, now with Apple banning that, it means for future apps that Facebook is going to develop, it's going to be really hard for them to do updates. Now, for a consumer side, you know, it's not going to take the Facebook app out of your store.
Nope.
The Facebook Research app is still available, I guess, in the Android store.
Really?
Yeah. So Android hasn't taken it out, or Google hasn't taken it out of there yet. At least as of right now. I'm sure that's probably going to change as we go through the day. But just the idea that now any updates to Facebook apps on Apple devices is going to be delayed. They're not going to be able to work on them, and this is just such a huge, huge story. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, and it comes on the heels of just story after story of data breaches and violation of trust, and I mean, Facebook is in really, really hot water.
Yeah, one after another. I mean, and this is Apple now coming to the rescue, you know, even with their FaceTime issue yesterday, which there's still a lot happening with that. But with Facebook, yeah, I mean, their data issues already. I mean, last week finding out that they want to merge the Messenger apps for Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp and merge them all into one single
stream. Yeah,
data stream that you can cross platforms and go into each one, which is a huge issue for anybody concerned about data privacy, especially for those on WhatsApp. Now with this coming out as well, it's weird to me. Facebook just, it's like they can't help themselves. Like they have access, and I was reading this was actually in a Forbes article, they were talking about this, where, you know, just somebody who's kind of pontificating about it, how Facebook has access to so much data, like so much data just through their regular platform. And yet they still want more.
They still want more. And it's like, what edge exactly does it give them? That's what I'm curious about. It's like...
yeah, finding out what young people are looking at and getting access to direct messages.
Asking them even to snapshot their Amazon purchases and send it to them.
That is just crazy. I mean,
insane.
and for $20 a month, let me ask you this. How much would you be willing to accept in payment in order to give somebody that much access to your data? $20 a month isn't enough for me. I can tell you that.
So you're saying that you do have a price limit, that you'd be like,
oh,
okay.
Everybody's got a price. I mean, let's be honest here. There's a price. What it is, I don't know. Throw me an offer. But I want to see what people would think. Like, is $20 enough for you to give up access to your data? And to be honest, you know, for some people that money was probably very much needed.
Yeah.
Which also seems like Facebook is
Which makes it, feel even dirtier. And if you are one of the people that actually did accept this research program, please let us know how long it's been going on, what your interaction has been with it. It'd be really fascinating to find out.
How comfortable you were, how they approached you. There's a lot of news that's going to come out on this story, I think, throughout the day. But Apple banning them from the store, that second side of the story, is pretty huge. That's Apple like banning one of the biggest tech companies on earth from further developing their apps underneath for iOS. I mean, that right there, that's an enormous story. I'm sure that's going to get resolved at some point, but it's Apple being like, look, we're doing something, see, we did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Ignore the stories about yesterday.
Yeah, forget about that. Yeah, we got it all solved right now. But yeah, it's a lot to kind of go through, a lot to think about. And I'm seeing in the live chat for Facebook, Michael says $20 is not enough. And that's probably true for a lot of people, that $20 would not be enough. Let's see, I've had this Dollars app. It was easy money if you had a bunch of old phones laying around. This app has been around since 2016, even sooner, I believe. Okay, so I can see that. So you just threw it onto the app, and then I guess you just don't have to use it and get $20 a month. All right. That's not okay.
Gaming the system.
Now I'm kind of getting where you're going here. I got a lot of old phones at home. Okay. Well, yeah, so some people using it, some people not using it, and yeah, I mean, I guess when you throw money in there, maybe are the people culpable? Because Facebook did try to say that this is above board because we told them.
Right, and they accepted the agreements.
They accepted it. They said they even brought in, like, we have parental agreements that were signed for younger people.
That's very disturbing.
Very disturbing. So that's just all part of this story as it's unraveling right now, just with the Facebook story. So let us know what you think as we go through this. There's a lot more information that'll be coming out. You can follow along at digitaltrends.com. But keep your comments coming in there because we'll come back to those and discuss this more. But speaking of comments, we do need to get to our Read 'em and Weep segment. Our Read 'em and Weep segment is one of our favorite ones here at Digital Trends Live, where we take a look at some of the comments that have come through across our social media platforms. Some good, some make us cry. Regardless, we read all of them because that's what we do here at Digital Trends. We read the comments.
Because that's fairness, folks.
That is what we do. So we listen to you when you say things. And let's take a look at Sam here.
Just Sam.
Sam, regarding the LG C8 OLED 4K TV review, the best TV of 2018. LG is a crap OLED TV. Starting off good.
All right.
And their home appliances are just a waste of money, reviewed by thousands. Their customer service is rude and unprofessional. This sounds like a very personal thing.
Sam has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Sam had a personal interaction with LG, I believe, that may be influencing some of the.
They put me on
commentary
hold.
There. They put me on hold. I didn't like it. Max girlfriend works for LG. That's something like that. So anyway, Sam, sorry about that. I don't think it's really a crap OLED TV. I think there are thousands of reviews that would probably say otherwise.
Probably say, yeah, the opposite.
And I'm not here to back up LG. I'm just saying I'm not sure about that, Sam. But nonetheless, thank you for the comment that you left on there. Sorry for what LG did to you. Marie Pardo Garber. I think we might recognize that name.
I think that sounds familiar.
Regarding Digital Trends Live 12819, the never-filling coffee mug is the Millennials' Yule log. Marie, once again, knocking it out of the park.
We miss you.
Wherever you are, Marie, we do miss you. Yeah, that's pretty true. We've been getting some really good comments about the coffee mug. If you're just watching live right now and you didn't get to see the coffee mug beforehand, you might want to take a look at that. I think it's kind of hypnotic, just how it always is never full, but always filling at the same time. So thank you, Marie.
It's a good piece to meditate on.
It is. Yes, I'll be thinking about it for the rest of the day. Stephanie Humphrey, Tech Life Steph. All right, Tech Life Steph. Regarding Amazon is now offering package delivery service to the trunk of your car. Now, instead of stealing packages off my porch, these will break into my car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
pretty
point.
much. That's it. Yeah. I know. I've seen this story about this. Where Amazon would essentially, you could have them be able to get access to your trunk.
So what happened to the Amazon lock then, where they were able to get access and deliver a
to your
package,
house?
Yeah, inside your house.
That's still there.
It's still there. They're just giving you another option.
Another option to let Amazon into your life. Yeah, I don't know if I would feel comfortable with this, although I guess.
No.
I mean, I guess if you have to have something delivered to your work, maybe it's safer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think I would maybe rather have it just into the house.
Right. Or just like to one of their own delivery boxes.
Yeah, and
that
go
you would
pick it up
to later.
Yeah. Would you use this or the Amazon key?
I don't think I would use either, honestly. Yeah. Both are. If I was really that concerned about that level of safety, I would just opt for like the lockbox and go pick it up myself.
Yeah.
Because that way nobody has to enter your property.
That's true. That's
fine.
true. I just want the drones. I want the drone delivery.
Yeah, I want the little delivery robot that pops open when it gets to your house.
That one. Yeah, wait, with the robot dog or the one with that's just
either's
just
fine.
Opens up. Okay.
I'm pro robot.
Well, Tech Life Steph, thank you. See, pro robot. I'm pro robot, but I want the robots to. They need to keep their distance.
Okay, that's fair.
That's kind of where I'm at with that. All right, Steve Dwyer, regarding how 5G will change your smartphone and your life in 2019. Oh yes. 5G comments are some of my favorite that we have here at Digital Trends. And I think it's just going to get better and better. 5G is doomed, like the deep state, who developed this new and even more dangerous and deadly BS mode of control. Sorry, I had to emphasize the capitalization.
I really, really appreciate the random capitalization.
It is. Key things. Doomed, deep state, more dangerous, deadly. The 4 Ds right there. We've got them all. So thank you, Steve, for that warning. And this very, very important message, the doomed deep state. Doomed like the deep state. But I'm sorry, is the deep state doomed? If the deep state is doomed, then isn't this good that for 5G? Because they created 5G. And how do the lizard people fit into this? That's really what we need to get down to, the bottom line is.
They're even more of mode of control.
It is being noted, I'm taking a look here at some of the comments, commenting on Steve. Keelan said, you forgot about the chemtrails. And it's true. Steve, how do the chemtrails fit into that?
Yes, how does 5G fit into the chemtrails?
I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure Steve can let us know.
I'm sure something about flat Earth as well.
There's got to be flat Earth in there, the ice wall, lizard people. Pick it up a little bit, Steve. Let's get our conspiracy theories all going in one.
Weave us a web.
Yeah, come on. You're on your way. You're not quite there yet, though. Thank you, Steve. All right, let's continue on with our read 'em and weep comments here as we go through.
Quite a
let's
lengthy
see.
tome here.
All right, Brennan Anderson. Regarding Apple reportedly takes on Microsoft with its own Netflix for games. We're going to be discussing that here in a minute. Oh God, not Apple. I can see it now. You go into Walmart for the code. It comes in a white box with a glass card with the code etched by a laser. As you're walking out, you drop the card and it shatters. Gone forever, no refunds. Okay.
Okay.
There's, again, a lot to unravel in that, too. I feel like something happened to Brennan. Something happened at Walmart.
I think he might have owned an iPhone at some point in his life.
Yeah, that could be. Chatter's gone forever, no refunds.
Who goes to Walmart for the code?
I don't know. I'm not sure what Walmart has to do with it, and I'm not sure about the glass card with code etched by laser.
I feel like this is a bit of a red herring for some.
Yes. Brennan needs to talk to Steve because I feel like we've just made a connection there. Brennan and Steve, pals forever. There's something in there.
We're matchmaking today.
There's something can happen. All right, that is our Read 'em and Weep segment every day, where we take a look at the comments and questions that come through across our social media platforms. Please keep on sending those 5G ones, and let's go on to some more tech headlines.
Excellent.
Here. So we've got our next story has to do with Samsung.
All right, yeah, and their 1 terabyte micro SD card that they're coming out with.
Okay, so 1 terabyte, a 1 terabyte chip, actually.
1 terabyte chip. Sorry,
yes.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yes, so that's and this is rumored to be coming in the Samsung Galaxy S10, where it's a 1 terabyte storage chip in a phone, which would essentially render a micro SD useless. You know, because anytime, at least when you use an Android phone, I can't really speak to iPhones. You always have to upgrade the memory by getting a micro SD card.
Gotcha. See, well, with an app or with an iPhone, there just is no way to upgrade the memory. You're stuck.
Yeah, that's what you have. So it's kind of a nice thing of an Android phone is that you can store more memory in there with that micro SD card. But with the 1 terabyte chip, you have no need to do that.
Right.
And that's all internal memory.
And you can shoot 4K to your heart's content, essentially. Like with the 1 terabyte chip. Sorry, excuse me. Andy Boxall actually broke out and quantified that you could shoot up to 260 10-minute videos in 4K.
That's a lot of 4K videos that you could store on your phone before you have to start unloading. Because I mean, right now, I think there was like you could store up a 64 gig. Let's see, 13 10-minute 4K videos will fill up a 64 gig storage card. So that's not much. You can't really do a lot with that. If you have a 4K video, if you have a 4K phone, you want to shoot a lot of 4K video. Well, this is what's going to be able to help you do that. And that's not all it'll help. Just with downloading issues.
Right.
Like downloading Netflix shows, downloading streaming. I mean, all kinds of different things that you can download with it. With a gig, that's a lot. It's a lot of storage.
That is insane amounts of storage.
It's a lot of storage.
Wow, so much storage. It's interesting to see what'll actually increase in terms of cost, though, since the highest tier of the Galaxy S9 is already like $1,200.
Yeah, the Note 9's already $1,200, and this is rumored to. They say that this chip is ready to actually be distributed to all kinds of phone manufacturers, and in particular, probably it's going to end up in their S10, is my guess. There's a lot of S10 rumors out there, and I know once I bring up the word S10, that's something that all of a sudden everybody's going to have all their rumors going. We have whole write-ups about this at digitaltrends.com, and we'll work on getting maybe a segment where we kind of walk through all of the S10 rumors. But you have to remember a lot of it is rumors. This, though, is not a rumor as far as the terabyte chip. That is something they have developed that is out there that they say is ready for manufacturing, ready for distribution. I'm going to guess February 20th for the Samsung Unpacked event. We'll probably find out more about this and whether it's going to be in the S10 phones. Probably it'll be in the high-end S10. There's 3 rumored phones for it, and I'm gonna guess the S10 Plus will have all the bells and whistles, and it'll probably cost more than your house. It's gonna be expensive, but it will be there. I'm seeing some comments come through here. Just want to make sure we address some of these. Jeremy Kaplan. In the chat says, let's see, talking about, Brennan's been down the rabbit hole and back again. So talking about Brennan, okay, this is true. Let's see, the big chip will bump it up to 2K for a phone. No, yeah, Raymond talking about the price for the phone. Yeah, probably.
Possibly.
I mean, if you have that one with all the S10 Plus with the 1 terabyte card, 5G capable, multiple cameras, they're talking about maybe up to 5 cameras. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna guess it's $2,000.
Oh yeah, I mean that's literally how much this costs.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. That's gonna be so much. But eventually, once that starts working its way into other phones, this is gonna be a pretty nice advantage, I think, for a lot of people because having internal storage is pretty good when you want to start shooting video. So that's the thing that's coming out right now for Samsung, the 1 terabyte card. Again, you can go to digitaltrends.com and check out all of our write-ups on the S10 rumors, the foldable phone rumors, and we'll start getting more and more information about that the closer we get to Unpacked and maybe kind of give you a whole rundown on some of the rumors that we have. All right, something else in the news is Apple Music.
Ah, yes. Apple Music is partnering with American Airlines. Their Apple Music subscribers can now stream over 50 million songs on their Wi-Fi with no purchase required.
Nice.
No Wi-Fi purchase and no music purchase required. So that's going to roll out onto all basically American Airlines flights. Whether or not Apple Music subscribers can bypass the $30 checked baggage fee is another question.
That part, yeah. Not sure about that part, but I mean, I think that's cool. I like it when airlines add in more perks.
I think so too. This will just be on U.S. flights, not international. Want to throw that in there.
Okay. I mean, free Wi-Fi is now the thing I want to know is, can you use the Wi-Fi for other things, or is it just you can log on to the Wi-Fi for free, but it's really just to stream Apple Music?
I think it's just to stream Apple Music,
Yeah,
and I mean that means you have to be already an Apple Music subscriber.
I mean, all right, but they do have the nice, you know, the airline guide on how to do this.
That was very cute.
Open up your phone.
The guy with the earpods.
Yeah, the smiling guy there at the end. That's something. I don't want to sit next to that guy. So taking a look here, yeah, some people saying Apple Music being trash. Don't like Apple Music. So that does get a little bit contentious right there. But yeah, free if you are an American Airlines flyer, if you're flying on American Airlines. So this is going to start rolling out. I'm not sure if we have the date on when this rolls out or if it already is
February
out.
1st.
February 1st. Okay.
So very, very soon.
So yeah, 2 days. You'll be able to stream Apple Music for free over Wi-Fi. I would like to see more companies do this, though. I like this idea. I mean, I like anything free on a flight.
I do too, and Alaska Airlines has a bunch of movies and music and things like
They
that, which is a really nice touch. JetBlue's always had programming.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, anything free, I'm in.
So it makes me wonder, like, what other airlines would partnership with. Like,
I mean, there's got to be like a Netflix. Well, yeah, Southwest. Oh man, I don't know. I don't even know where. Like, you get one album from Dave Matthews. You can stream it all you want, and that's what you get. Southwest. And I like Southwest.
I like Southwest too. Not to take it Southwest.
But yeah, I don't think you don't go there for the extra perks.
No, you don't.
But that is what's happening right now when it comes down to that for American Airlines and Apple Music and the rumors. Well, not rumors, but this is actually something that's happening. So that's going to be rolling out for you very soon. You can check that out, digitaltrends.com. Should we get back here to Apple for another thing as well? Something else that Apple is doing. And this doesn't have to do with FaceTime. This has to do with Apple trying to take on Microsoft, Sony, Google, Amazon, and many more to create their own Netflix of games. This has been tried by a lot of companies, and this isn't something that's officially rolling out, but there's been some interviews. This is actually according to Cheddar. Cheddar interviewed some different employees there, and they said that this is something that Apple really wants to get into. I think it's interesting with Apple just getting into games in general. They haven't been the best at that.
Yeah, this puts them smack into the publishing sphere for games. And I mean, they've been so successful at mobile games that I think that this is just a very interesting avenue for them in general.
Yeah, and taking on some of the big companies like that with Microsoft, because they have their Project X Cloud. And admittedly, I don't think it's really been done very well. So far. So there is room in there for somebody to come in and do it well. But it depends on what the games are, depends on what the platforms are. Are we just talking about mobile games? Are we talking about playing games on an Apple computer? Which, again, I'm not a gaming expert, but I don't seem to recall that being a very big thing for people playing games on Apple computers. So where they're going to go with that
I mean, it's definitely caught up at this point. It's kind of just like a matter of like processing power. A lot of modern Apple laptops can actually play those kind of higher end AAA games.
So do you play games?
I do occasionally. I'm not as big of a gamer as I used to be, but and I don't really PC or like desktop game very often. Apple games, nope, says Michael Anderson.
Nope. And I feel like that's going to be a comment from a lot of people when it comes down to it. Although, you know, if they do well, then fine. Raymond also says Apple wants too much control for my money. Brian says maybe if they launch it with a fresh Star Wars MMO, that's true. If they do, you know, pay big bucks and get a really quality game, something like that, which Apple does have the money. Maybe that's where they could actually get into.
Yeah, I kind of think about like all of those EA games of like, you know, like Sims and SimCity and stuff like that, and like people playing that. I feel like that would actually be a really big hit if you could stream something like that.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, so there are some possibilities there. Well, we'll see if it rolls out. Again, just kind of a rumor that's coming out about Apple, but a very it sounds like a verified rumor. And Microsoft is going after with their own thing, and Sony's got theirs, Google's got theirs. Who's going to come out on top? Well, we'll have to see if anybody can do it well. All right, I know we need to go to break here pretty quick. Let me just check. Should we go to break or should we do one more story? I'm going to check with our producers in the back and see where we're at. Okay, so I think that's about it for now because we've got so much coming up here on Digital Trends Live that we have to get to, and we're very excited to bring it to you. So Drew Prindle going to be joining us here in just a little bit, our emerging technologies editor, to talk about the Aloxidol. I'm going to get it right.
Very nice.
Thank you. Aloxidol.
I'm going to have to tune in to see how I can attach some extra limbs to myself.
Aloxidol.
I'll be even more productive.
Yeah, I don't know if it's growing extra limbs, but yeah, maybe if you want an extra limb. Drew's going to be in here to talk about that and just a really interesting thing that's happening with science and technology, kind of futuristic stuff that's happening right now and the potential for it. So we'll be discussing that in a little bit here on Digital Trends Live. Coming up next, though, we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. Where is the state of it? Where is it at right now? What are kind of some of the trends that have been happening in cryptocurrency over this last year and going into 2019? Should you buy into some cryptocurrency? What's the adoption rate? All of that stuff. And if you have questions and comments, let's get those in there because we're broadcasting live across many different platforms. So Travis Wright of the Bad Crypto Podcast joining us here momentarily. Adrian, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you for a chock-filled morning of tech news.
It's been a chock-filled morning.
Yeah.
That is good. Yes. Come back for more chock-filled mornings of tech. We got to adopt that in there now, too, as well. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live, broadcasting live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and we are live. We're broadcasting across multiple different platforms, taking your comments and questions as they come through. I'm Greg Nibbler, and right now we're going to talk about cryptocurrency, blockchain, everything that's going on with that, maybe a little bit about the trends, where we're at right now, going into 2019. And our next guest, I want to read just his bio right here alone. Keynote speaker, marketing technology and blockchain advisor, digital agency owner, medium selling author, and podcast host for the Bad Crypto Podcast and the Bad Boys of Tech. It's Travis Wright. Hello, Travis.
Hello, how's it going over there?
Going great. That is a lot to pack in to one bio. You are a busy person.
Well, you know what? That's one thing about today's world, man. If you're not stacking skills and continually growing your capabilities, then you can become obsolete.
That is 100% true. I absolutely agree with that. Well, let's talk about cryptocurrency.
Sure.
Talk about where we're at right now. And, I know there's a lot of stuff that we want to get through, but let's talk about maybe just the adoption rate of cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Because I feel like more and more it's mainstream. People are starting to understand at least what it is, maybe not how it works, but at least what it is. And I'm wondering, we've seen the prices go up and down. Are people buying into cryptocurrency more, or are people shying away from it?
Well, that's one of the things. The price of crypto may go down, and then once the price goes down, the mainstream media kind of ignores it, and then it's like, all right, well, crypto is dead, right? It's down. Well, what's happened actually since 2014? In 2014, it was about $15 million a day was being traded in crypto, right? Bitcoin and some of those other coins are being traded $15 million a day. Then the next year it 3x to 45 million. Then the next year it 5x to 200 million.
Wow.
And then it 10x to 2 billion in 2017. And then last year it was on average about $15 billion a day was being traded in crypto. And now we're looking at, who knows how much it's going to be per day in 2019, but it's looking still around $15-20 billion a day is being traded in crypto. Now, how much of that is fraudulent volume on some of these exchanges, that's unknown, but just the amount of wallets that have been acquired by various different people over time, that number it's at an all-time high. It just keeps growing. And you have a lot of other different cryptos that are now sort of coming out of development. We've had this big ICO craze that happened in 2016 and 2017, early part of 2018. And now some of those are starting to come out of development. And, you see a lot of adoption with governments starting to bring in blockchain techs, and you're starting to see more regulation and more conversations about crypto, and it's becoming more mainstream every day, and it's actually some of it's becoming even more behind the scenes. So I think it's going to become a lot simpler over time, where you're not even really going to have to know you're interacting with a blockchain, you just are.
Right, and I think that's true too. The more that blockchain's adopted across multiple different platforms, like it's going to be one of those things for people. I think once they're just going to be in it, they may not know how it works, kind of like what you just said, but they'll be using it. For the Bitcoin side of it, and I want to get into some of the blockchain as well, but for the Bitcoin side, just for an ordinary person, like say you've been aware of this, you've got all of these different ones that are, like you said, that are coming out of development. How do you know where to go and what to invest in?
Right. Well, one of the things that I like to know about is if the blockchain is actually if it's actually being utilized, like how many transactions are happening, and you can actually check that out by going to a website called blocktivity.info. And you can check and see which blockchains are actually being utilized, which ones not. And you're going to be surprised. A lot of times, we had this big Ethereum rush that happened.
Yep.
And everybody was building their projects on Ethereum. Well, now what we're seeing is EOS and Tron are actually having a lot of transactions made on those. People are building a lot of these dApps on top of EOS and Tron. You can check that out at dAppradar.com and just see which sites and which dApps are being, has the highest amount of transactions and the most amount of people using them. And so it's completely fascinating when you see, here's a real blockchain, it solves a unique problem, and look at the volume of the people using it, and you can see that it's gaining adoption over time.
And that's probably a good sign to look for. If more people are using it, most likely it's more secure. It's a stable system to work on.
Yeah, you want to kind of read through some of the technical stuff, and or at least do your own research. That's one of the things that we really harp on at Bad Crypto is, look, don't listen to us. Do your own research. Take the knowledge that we're giving you here, and we've shared over 200 different blockchain projects over the year and a half that we've had this show. But we're not making recommendations on what you should buy. Take our knowledge, listen to it, then do some research of your own, and then maybe you'll figure out there's something that you want to buy, you want to be part of. This is not going away. Blockchain is not a fad. It's not going away. Just like what they said with the internet. The internet's a fad. Nobody needs a computer, right?
Right.
But we all need transparency, and that's what blockchain is bringing to us.
And yeah, you're right. It's not a fad. It's not going away. And I mean, think just even talking about those volume of dollars that you were bringing up there over the years. I mean, that's clearly that kind of growth is crazy. Let's talk about actual transactions, that people would engage in. Like, where do you see that going as far as where we're at right now? Like, can I go out and get a Bitcoin card, or run it and run it at a store, or where we're going with that just for the general consumer, somebody just getting into blockchain or Bitcoin or any kind of cryptocurrency? What kind of transactions do you see happening over this year?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of those projects out there that you can get a credit card attached to it. If you have your Coinbase account, you can go there. I think it's shiftcard.com. You can go and get a credit card that's attached to your Bitcoin account, or I think maybe even your Litecoin or whichever accounts that you have there on Coinbase. Now, that's one of the things, though, is that people like to hold on to their Bitcoin. They don't necessarily want to transact in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's kind of a store of value. Like, I want to keep my Bitcoin over here because John McAfee says it's going to be worth $1 million one day, right? Or he's going to cut off his junk. And so, it's you go, I don't know if I want to sell my Bitcoin. But a lot of those other coins, you do, and there are starting to be a lot more transactions. Now, say you're an e-commerce store and you want to accept crypto. There's a lot of really easy solutions to do that too now, like coinpayments.net is a solution. You sign up, you put it on your website, and then you go through the process, and then people can pay you in 1,100 different cryptocurrencies. Like that, this stuff right here is why mass adoption is coming, because these solutions out here are making it a lot easier for folks.
I want to talk about those solutions and even get into the government side of it here too. But you said there's 1,100 different cryptocurrencies. At some point, I mean, that's just on the one
there's
platform.
over 2,000 cryptocurrencies, but Coin Payments, I think, can accept 1,100 of them.
Do you think that's going to pare down over time, or are we just going to see more? Is it going to grow?
Well, I think it's going to be a self-cleaning type of thing. We'll see lots more down the road, but I think, what happened with this big ICO buzz was that all these people received a whole lot of money, and the price of Ethereum was really high. Now the price of Ethereum has gone from like 13 or 1,500 down to like 100, right? And so if you raised $50 million at the really high price and you didn't sell it, and now you have a whole bunch of it down here, you've lost a lot of money. And so a lot of these projects are not going to reach the finish line because they've run out of run room. Either that, or they need to go get some venture capital to kind of push them over the edge. Is I think a lot of those are going to die, but that doesn't mean they were bad projects. I think the price of crypto surprised a lot of people when it went so high, and then it's crashed, not by 90%. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of those good developers, we're seeing a lot of these interesting developers are like leaving, maybe going over to Facebook's blockchain division. A lot of banks are, getting their own blockchain division. So a lot of these really top developers are kind of moving over.
Interesting, yeah, and people are kind of poaching some of that talent and then and then going from there. Well, I think that's interesting to know that some of them are going to pare down, but you did give us a guide earlier, just some recommendations on where to go do research if you're going to adopt it and invest in it. A couple of things just really quick here towards the end. I want to talk about the government side of it. The governments, like different governments adopting blockchain. What does that mean for a consumer? What's that mean for ordinary people?
Well, I think what it means is just that it's on top of mind, and the governments are thinking about it. And there are, a lot of the governments around the world are not transparent at all, right? And there's no visibility into the spending. There's no visibility into a whole lot of things. So blockchain can solve a whole lot of problems. I know that there's some estimates, that the U.S. Department of Defense is missing up to $21 trillion. There was a report by the University of Michigan that wrote that like $21 trillion is maybe missing. Like, how is that possible? But if you had blockchain, throughout the whole system, it triggers, this gets done, this payment gets triggered, boom, that goes out. You're able to be accountable for every single dollar everywhere. Now, we had this huge problem in America with the voting issue, right? Like, oh, did Russia mess with our election or not? Well, if we're and we all have a sort of an identity and we're able to vote in, and that vote is on the blockchain, then you know what? That solves a whole lot of problem. It would have solved 2 years of us bickering and crying and pointing fingers and hating each other if we had a solution in place. Most people like to whine about things instead of finding solutions. I like solutions. And so more governments around the world are adopting these, like Estonia. Estonia has their complete government on blockchain because they're terrified that Russia might come and try to conquer them again. And if they burned all their records, then they would have no government. And so Estonia is completely on the blockchain, or they're getting close to it. Malta is doing some stuff to be on the blockchain, to become the, one of the top companies or countries around the world. And there's countries and there's states here in America like Wyoming that are really doing some really top initiatives around blockchain to bring that mass adoption and to make it easier for folks to be a part of it. So we see it every week on the news when we go through bad crypto and we talk about our bad news. New governments are, adopting blockchain in new ways. New regulations are coming out, and the evolution and innovation just keeps on moving forward.
I think that transparency side is something that definitely people will be interested in knowing and seeing governments adopt that side of it. Well, Travis, I want to say thank you for joining us too here on Digital Trends Live. Where can people go? What should they listen to with Bad Crypto Podcast? Give us your suggestions.
Yeah. Check us out, badcryptopodcast.com. Any of your, podcast platforms, you can check that out. We also launched a new show called The Bad Boys of Tech, where we sort of dive into other topics, Joel and I, and as well as Stuart Rogers. So we have a lot of fun about talking technology and crypto and emerging technologies and stuff. And if that's what you want to know about, obviously digital trends, that's kind of where we focus, is where is the road taking us and what are some of the implications that we might need to be aware of. And so, check us out if you like what we got to say.
Fantastic. Travis, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks everybody for watching right now. So again, this is Digital Trends Live, bringing you live tech coverage. So talking to Travis right there of the Bad Crypto Podcast, just about cryptocurrency and where we're going with that. And he talked a lot about emerging tech. Well, we have Drew Prindle, our emerging technologies editor, who's going to be joining us here in just a couple of moments to talk about the axolotl. I think I'm still saying it right. What happened is this. Scientists have genome sequenced a salamander that may give us the knowledge to be able to grow new limbs. That's as simplified as I can make it. Drew is going to say it probably a lot more eloquently, but we're going to have him here in just a second, here with Digital Trends Live. And wherever you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button to make sure you get notification when we do go live. We'll be back here in just a second with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you everyone for joining us wherever you are. Hit that subscribe button to make sure you get every episode as we go live. And I'm Greg Nibbler, joined now by Drew Prindle.
What's up, Greg?
What's going on? Drew, our emerging technologies editor. I will say this, since yesterday I've been teasing it on the show and I still don't know if I'm pronouncing it what we're going to talk about correctly, but it's only a minor part of this. So part of emerging technologies, you get to see, you research and you talk about some of the really out there stuff that could be coming to us soon.
Yes.
And this has to do with genome sequencing. It has to do with a salamander. I'm going to let you maybe explain this. What is an axolotl?
Axolotl.
Axolotl. All right, I've been wrong the whole time.
It's a tough one for sure.
Axolotl.
Axolotl. An axolotl is basically a little Mexican salamander that scientists have actually been researching it since like this late 1700s, because after it was discovered, they kind of figured out, my God, this thing can regrow limbs really, really well. And after researching it more and more, they discovered not only can it regrow like limbs, I mean, it can regrow tissues, it can regrow bones, it can regrow nerves, it can regrow sections of like spinal columns.
Wow.
So like pretty much any part of this thing's body, it can just regrow over the course of a couple weeks.
So it's pretty much indestructible, essentially.
I mean, you can it's not indestructible. It's still endangered right now. You can only find it in this one very small part of Mexico right now. So I feel like that's part of the reason why scientists were kind of racing to sequence this thing's genome, was because we might not have a chance in a couple decades.
Right. Yeah, in case it goes. So yeah, we're taking a look here at a video right now, just kind of showcasing like some of the growth side and how that actually works. And it is interesting. So, I mean, you can have a severed limb, it can grow this limb back. And this video is from a company or a group called Animal Logic on YouTube, which I just discovered them today. And great follow, Animal Logic. So thanks for their video there showcasing that, but just showcasing how an arm can grow and how this thing can do this, which is a complete mystery.
Yeah, and they're starting to unravel that mystery by sequencing this thing's genome.
So let's walk through what that means. What is sequencing a genome? I mean, I think we all have a general idea, but what exactly does
So basically, that's like breaking down your DNA, or the DNA of any organism, and figuring out like the code of it. So like your DNA is made up of these nucleotides, you know, A, T, C, G, adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine, whatever it is, if you remember from biology.
Right.
All of that is what makes up, you know, your DNA, and sequences of that make up genes. And those genes are what are responsible for various like abilities in your body. So to sequence that, they basically have to break down its DNA and figure out all of the code, all of those A, T, C, Gs. And not only break them down and figure out the order of them, but figure out where like the codes end and like which ones make up particular genes, what those genes do. So it's a ton of work.
That sounds like a very exhausting process.
Yeah, so the thing is, we did this with the human genome, and that project was figured, I think, in like 2003 or something like that. I think it started back in like the 1990s. So it took like over a decade to finish the human genome. But the thing is, the human genome is only about 3 billion base pairs, whereas the axolotl genome is like 32. So it's
32 billion pairs. It's more complex than...
It's 10 times as big as the human genome. So this was a massive undertaking. And the thing that impresses me about it is the fact that they were able to do this and sequence the genome of this little salamander in just a few years. Like, I'm not sure how long it actually took them to do this but like, from what I can tell, the first mention of this in the media was only just like 2 or 3 years ago. So the project, I don't think, started, you know, particularly long ago, and it was 10 times bigger than the Human Genome Project, but it took like a quarter of the time.
But it's because of these different abilities that the axolotl has that's why they wanted to sequence this. That's why they wanted to go through all of this effort, because it can regrow limbs. So now that they've done this, they've sequenced the genome. We know where everything goes for an axolotl. And what does that mean for us? What kind of information can they use with this to translate into something that we can use?
So like the high level idea behind this is that if we can figure out which genes are responsible for allowing the salamander to regrow limbs and various tissues, that we could kind of express those same genes in humans, or maybe like, you know, implant them through some sort of like gene splicing technique or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So basically, it's all of the things that you see in Marvel movies. It's like, can we take this thing from an animal and put it in humans and make it so that we can regrow limbs? I actually think that was in a Marvel movie at one point.
It probably was.
Yeah.
I mean, this is superhero stuff.
Yeah.
To where they could take this kind of would they just splice it into a human?
You know, I'm not actually sure how it would go. I don't think we're actually that far.
Yeah.
The big news is that we have completely sequenced the genome, and that's just going to provide the roadmap for. So we're kind of at the jumping off point right now. Like, we have this thing, we know exactly how it regrows limbs on like a cellular level, and the cool thing about it is all of this data is completely like out there in the open now. It's all free. It's not like they don't have any sort of like copyright or whatever. It's not like their information that they own.
It is for anybody to use.
You can access that on the internet right now, all of the genomic data, and do whatever you want with it.
That seems like it could be a bad thing.
I mean, it could also be a very...
locked up. This is how you get super villains.
Exactly. But it could also be a very good thing, because this means you don't have to be a very well-funded researcher to like access all of this stuff that took probably millions of dollars to put together.
Again, I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but I did want to address something. We did have a question that popped up there from Facebook, Sam Slaughter. Drew, will you be growing a third arm to test this out?
Oh, man. I would definitely love to do that. The question is like, where would it come out? Would you put it on like the back of your neck or like the middle of your chest? Like,
where would you put your third arm? I think if you had it like adjacent, then you could hide it if you needed to hide it.
Oh, dude, do it.
I mean, if it's coming out of your neck,
do it like underneath, like one on each side, like Goro from Mortal Kombat.
Yes, that's the best spot where
Yeah,
you
there we
should
go.
grow your third arm or fourth arm, however many arms that you want. So, I mean, but seriously, like this actual application, I mean, that's pretty amazing if that were to happen.
Yeah.
If they are able to apply it to this somewhere down the line, to where there's some Men in Black activity there.
I love this clip. I don't think we're going to be able to regrow entire heads. I mean, maybe, but I imagine you'd probably die.
Yeah.
If you had your head blown off, and then that would,
Right. Unless
your
you're
ability.
sequenced just enough.
I don't know, man. There's no telling where this will go.
Raymond says someone will weaponize it.
Weaponize it how? Like
That's how you get super villains. Haven't you seen any superhero movie, Drew? Some guy somewhere, the CRISPR baby dude, he's going to get real ticked off because he's getting, like I said before, he's going into his bunker somewhere. He's going to take this technology. I mean, boom. We're going to get the little, what was his name again from Goro?
Yeah, Goro.
Goro. Yeah, we're going to get a whole bunch of Goros. Yeah, Raymond, someone will weaponize it right there. Also, a practical question. Keelan said, where would you buy shirts? And that's a good point. You'd have to have those custom made.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, real billowy shirts. What other applications for technology does this kind of research have?
So I think the exciting thing is, in addition to regrowing limbs and stuff, this is also really good for just like regenerating pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Regenerating any kind of cells or tissues or anything like that. So it does have other applications in potentially like fighting cancer, because cancer happens when cells are trying to regrow, but like they don't kind of regenerate quite the right way, and they're replicating wrong. This could help solve some of that. So,
wow.
In addition to regenerative medicine, it has some stuff for cancer fighting as well.
Yeah, that's something I could definitely see it being applied to sooner. Before we get our third arms.
Yeah,
that's
probably. That'll be the first application.
Yeah.
We're not going to get the cool stuff that we want on our wish list until much later down the road. But
we're not all going to be dead.
In these next few years, this has some pretty exciting implications.
Very cool. One, we've got this whole article at digitaltrends.com you can take a look at and kind of get a rundown, find out a little bit more about the information, and there's some explanatory videos about the axolotl.
Axolotl. It's just a really fun word to say.
It is fun once you get it down.
Yeah.
I somehow switch. It's hard for me. I switch the X and the L around. But regardless, that's not the important part of this story. It is that they have sequenced the genome of the axolotl and what it's going to mean for us going forward. And that's why your section is so much fun. Like you get to find out about some of these things that may seem way out there, but you never know how this is going to be adapted.
Yeah.
So, Drew, thank you so much for hopping in here to talk about that. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Digital Trends Live, another fun show that we have here for you. So today, just kind of run down what we did talk about. We had Adrian Warren in here in the beginning, and Adrian and I talked about the huge Facebook issue that is going on, where Facebook was paying teens to basically take the data off of their phones and mine everything that they had. There's a lot of fallout going on with that, and we'll have write-ups about that all day long at Digital Trends. You'll want to follow along with it as more news develops on that and how crazy it gets. We don't know, but Apple has banned them from using any development apps for iOS, which is a big deal. So that's some of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the show. We had Travis Right on from the Bad Crypto podcast to talk about cryptocurrencies, blockchain, where that's going, how that's going to be working out this year, and kind of where we're at with that. And of course, Drew Prindle talking about our emerging technologies and the axolotl and regrowing limbs and where that's at. Let me give you a little bit of a tease for tomorrow. So we are live here every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Hit that subscribe button to make sure that you get it. Tomorrow on the show, we've got Jordan Morrow, who is the global head of data literacy at Click, which is making sense of big data and privacy and how Congress could regulate it. That's an important thing. How is Congress going to regulate this stuff? Especially we're talking about Facebook gathering all this data today. How is this stuff actually being regulated? What are data companies getting from you? What's Congress doing about it? We'll talk about that. We've got Eddie Corll, the CEO and founder of PureTracks, which is a new blockchain-based music streaming service that is subscription and ad-free. I want to find out how that's possible. How is it subscription and ad-free? So we'll talk to Eddie about that. And then Caleb Dennison, also stopping by. Caleb to talk about televisions and home entertainment, all right here on Digital Trends Live. Hit that subscribe button wherever you are. Join us here every day. I'm Greg Nibler. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with more Digital Trends Live.